All right, we're here. We got Winston and John. So
That's right.
um, it's good to have you guys. We were supposed to have another guy from California, but I texted him and he didn't respond back. But it'd be good to have him. But we got two California guys here. Winston, how many years did you live in California?
Uh, a lot. I mean, until like 1998, I think. Must have been a few decades.
Yeah, all right, that's a long
So,
time,
so
man.
yeah, I grew up there, and I haven't been there in a long time. But it's well, actually, I was there for a few days when I arrived, and yeah, it looks different. It looks like everything is AI controlled. Like there's, you know, like they're in a carpool lane. There's like a AI where you have to pay to be in the carpool lane. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like a futuristic city. Have you seen that, Jonathan? Where there's like a carpool lane on the left lane in the freeway, and then you have to like pay for it with some type of app or something, and it automatically takes your payment or something just while you're driving. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I do see it sometimes. It's not as prevalent as much, I think, in SoCal, but definitely NorCal, I've seen some of that stuff. But in SoCal, you see it, but it's more so in like a bougie neighborhood or sorry, bougie area that you're going to drive through or whatnot. Like sometimes near like Santa Barbara area, but definitely not all the time. But yeah, it is getting taken over by AI, and I think the whole United States is going to get like that.
Yeah, I mean it was kind of weird to see, and but yeah, I mean California just seems so busy. It's like there's so many cars everywhere. It feels crowded.
Yeah, it's way too crowded. Like it's almost like traffic hour used to be maybe 5 to 6 around there, maybe 4:30 if it was lucky. But now it's like fucking traffic hours 3:30 to about like 7, and it's hard. Even in the suburbs, it's hard to get from the suburbs to the city. It's almost like it's not even worth it to go to Los Angeles anymore. That's how I feel. Like it's just too hard, too much of a drive, and also the drivers have just gotten even worse. They're even more angry than ever before. Like it's not uncommon to see people get out of their car and like into a fight or on the
Oh,
streets are not uncommon.
yeah, I don't think that happens as much in the Bay Area. I mean, that's where I was at, but in the Bay Area,
Yeah,
everyone's just a happy, worker ant or busy bee. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, it just feels stressful driving there. But I do like the scenery. I mean, the hills look nice, and the beaches are nice, and the wind feels good. I mean, the wind feels nice and cold on your face, and
Oh yeah, it is so amazing. The scenery, the beaches, the mountains, the
yeah, because
farms. Oh, it's the best. Like when it comes to the nature in the United States, it has the best nature, hands down. I've been around the USA, and I'll tell you what, California's got the best nature.
oh well, I like Utah or Washington or Arizona for nature, but I mean, the hills are nice, but the thing is, over here in Las Vegas, I mean, it's so hot and dry, and there's no scenery, and it's kind of desolate, and the heat has been intense this summer too. So
Yeah.
it's not
It's
as
been intense here in Cali, but it's not nearly as fucking bad as over there in Vegas. Vegas is uncontrollable. That's horrible out there with heat.
yeah, nobody likes it. I mean, there's no scenery or nature to it, and there's not many trees either.
Oh, that makes it even worse. It makes it harder to breathe.
Yeah, and there's nothing but strip malls, and just cement everywhere, and
Oh, sounds
yeah, it's
lifeless.
yeah, it is kind of soulless and lifeless. So you don't,
Yeah.
because America does have a lot of beautiful nature. It's just not, around Las Vegas or Nevada.
True. That's mostly
Nevada,
just straight up desert.
yeah, but Nevada is peace and quiet. I mean, it is peaceful and quiet if you get out of Las Vegas and drive around, the other parts. Then it's
Yeah,
nice and quiet.
very true. Yeah.
John,
Oh, yeah, I've always liked going to Nevada. Huh?
what are your favorite parts of California, like favorite places to be in California?
Oh, That's a good question. Yeah, my favorite city to be in is Santa Barbara. It's a beautiful city that looks like you're somewhere in Spain, in a coastal town in Spain. It's got such good restaurants. The beaches are so beautiful. The mountains, the hills everywhere. You have some pretty good venues for nightlife. You got a lot of good food, like a lot of good like bars and stuff if you're into drinking. Then I like Ventura, which is a lot of the same thing, but it's kind of more of the chill hippie vibe that you get like the old school California. Malibu, of course, is another place. It's a little expensive and bougie, but it's nice to drive through. Also, I'm a big fan, very big fan of Orange County. I love Laguna Beach. I love, Disneyland, Anaheim, all that. So, yeah, California is amazing when it comes to entertainment. I mean, all the bad politics aside and all the, nasty things about it, it's a phenomenal place. And especially when living here for a long time, uh, as a guy when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I mean, heck, it was a lot of fun then. I got to explore a lot of cool things and have a lot of experiences that a lot of people in different states didn't get to have, like living here, which is crazy. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
some of my favorite places.
LA?
Yeah, LA is okay. It's funny. I like a lot of things about LA. I think it's a cool city. Hollywood's there. You have, Santa Monica, Venice. That's a cool little hipster area. And yeah, the food in LA is fucking amazing, but it's just too busy bee, like Winston says, and a little dangerous now.
Yeah. There's so much there's so much talent in California, like musicians, movies, artists,
Oh yeah.
and tech, so it seems like a lot of good things come out of that state.
Absolutely, absolutely. When you're living here, kind of rubs off on you. It's got its good side and its dark side, and I'll go into the good side about it. Like when you're around all these talented people, you have all these opportunities to learn from them. Therefore, it just builds your skill set. You start meeting people and learning things you wouldn't even thought you'd even learn about. So that's what makes it really cool. The dark side is, if you're going to get into tech or you're going to get into movies, acting, or something, it's going to be very competitive. But that also helps you step up your game as well.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Uh, so John, you've been out of the country. What was it like going back to America? Are you planning on, leaving again?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely planning on leaving again. I actually have to leave again. I got some business obligations again overseas, more so in South America. So I'll be headed back there soon. But my thoughts coming back into California, it was nice. It was good and bad. I feel like it was good that I got to see my family. It was good to be back during the summer with all the beautiful weather and all the things like fiestas and stuff like that coming in. But it was kind of sucky because it's tourist season, which means my workload here is heavier. Number one, and number two, it's going to be crowded on the roads, and there's just a lot of political strife and whatnot. But yeah, it was kind of a bittersweet homecoming, but I loved it. I'm grateful to be here.
Okay, yeah. Um, Winston, were you planning on you're in Nevada, were you planning on going to California?
Yeah, well, I went there for a few days to visit some relatives on the way here, and we do plan to go back again to, visit some more relatives, and there's stuff I want to see in California too. Like, there's historical sites too, and like famous missions and stuff, and um, so yeah, we do plan to go back, but I don't know if we're going to do that first or go down to Arizona first and New Mexico because that area is nice too. But
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
but yeah, I also wanted to try to go down to Mexico at some point with John too. I mean,
Oh, you can, man. I am 100% open. Like I said, I got starting next week, I got some time to go. So whenever you're down, just hit me up.
yeah, because it's so kind of depressing to see like here in the States. I mean, when you go out, every girl just is really closed off and doesn't want to talk to you. And if you talk to her, you feel like she's thinking, "Who's that creep? Ignore him," and
Yeah.
it's just kind of depressing to see that everywhere, especially here. It's just like, um, I mean, it would be really great to go down to Mexico and to actually see friendly, girls or friendly women. Again, I mean, where
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? It's so different. It's like an entirely different world when it comes to that. I mean,
Absolutely. I 100% agree, man. It really is, and it's not only that, but also just people in general here, man. They're just kind of like closed off and like on edge
yeah,
and
very cliquish. California, that's the one drawback in California. It's a beautiful state, beautiful weather and sunny, but it's just very, very cliquish um and there's this
it's
snobby vibe too, and
yeah,
and the
it's
girls are like almost never friendly. I mean,
yeah, that's true. I mean, unless you're getting them in like a party situation where it's like a total trash fest where there's like twerking on the dance floor and alcohol, drugs, but like you don't really get a lot of classy ladies here. That's the thing.
yeah, they're
Like
just not
you
sweet or good natured. They just act
no. Yeah.
like really cold and hardened, and it's not just about being feminine. They just don't have that good natured and sweetness and down to earthness that you have in other countries.
Yeah, especially a country that's right south of border.
Yeah, it's like you cross that border from San Diego and into Tijuana or something, and it's a different world. It's amazing.
Oh, you said it
Out of
right.
this
It's a
world.
completely fucking different world. Like literally, me and my friend, we always say this. Oh, look, we're crossing from fucking. We're going from downtown LA down to Disneyland. That's literally how it feels. When you go through that border, you feel like you're going into Disneyland or Disney World. Vibe changes. It's just more relaxed. There's less people mad dogging you, which I really fucking hate about here. People always mad dogging you and shit.
Yeah, and plus everything's cheaper, right? Because inflation has made everything seem so expensive in the U.S.
Oh
Even
yeah, it's
even
much
restaurants
cheaper.
seem like a ripoff now. I mean,
Oh, all of them. When I'm here, I hardly even eat out. I just cook my own food at home because it's just number one, really expensive, and number two, the quality has just gone down because the morale amongst people here is the customer's always wrong and the worker's always right. Workers' rights. Fuck you. Your money don't matter to us. So that's kind of how the attitude is here. So it's kind of like to me, I'm like, okay, well, I just won't go. I just won't go to restaurants.
yeah,
Fuck
it
it.
seems like the service is slower too, and like at restaurants, even at like McDonald's or Taco Bell, the service seems kind of slower than it used to be.
Yeah, it is. And it's getting just as bad as Eastern Europe with the service too. Like they're taking long, they'll deliberately show you that you're wrong because you're the customer. I mean, it's literally turning
Oh,
into a fucking, Warsaw, Poland kind of.
yeah, because over in Asia, I mean, the service is okay. I mean, they bring you the food fast in Asia, but I mean, the prices for restaurant foods are like one third of what they are here. I mean,
True. That's very, very true. I
you
have
can
a lot of
easily eat a
friends.
meal for $5 or less.
Yeah, that's true. And a healthy meal too. I got so many friends, like the Peruvian guy we all know. He loves Asia, talks about it all the time. He tells me that he literally has eaten meals for $3.
Oh yeah, that's possible too.
Yeah.
If you go to like a canteen or something, I mean, or street food or something, you can eat for
Yeah.
$3 food. Or
That's crazy, man. I've always wanted to check out Asia, man. Like I've been there once. I stayed in Japan for a few days, but to me that's not the full Asia experience. I want to go to like, Philippines, Cambodia, Vietnam, all these cool places. They just look so cool. They have such cool culture. See something new, all that good stuff.
oh yeah, the food there is amazing, and there's a lot of culture. I mean, well, it depends on where you go in Asia, but in generally, Southeast Asia has a lot of interesting culture, and the food is very cheap, and the girls look very feminine and just a lot easier to talk to and connect with.
Yeah, that's
It,
wonderful, man.
they don't look like they hate you. They don't have that hateful look. Like
Yeah.
every guy I don't know is a creep, and oh, it's just awful to have that feeling in America where everyone thinks, I mean, every female thinks you're a creep if you talk to them. It's just super, super paranoid and antisocial, and it's
And
just
it's kind of,
bad.
yeah, it's kind of like that with all people in general, even guys. Like, I feel like nobody really like wants to hang out. If they don't know you, they don't even want to get to know you. It's kind of a weird vibe here. Now,
Oh
given,
yeah,
like I
yeah.
said, if you're, yeah, it's just that like it's so toxic. It's with everybody here too. Like you could just tell people don't like to go out. Like even venues that you think would be crowded, they're not even crowded anymore because nobody wants to talk to each other.
Yeah, it just feels kind of like a taboo, even trying to make friends or trying to socialize. It's like,
Everybody's on their phone, just looking at their phone.
I know, yeah. Sucks.
well, I know, but everyone claims to be busy, but it doesn't make sense because even if you're busy, if you want to go out and meet your friends, you can. They just don't want to for some reason.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with like Netflix and all these, TikTok and all this shit. They're so addicted to it because they watch it so much that it becomes an addiction that they just can't get off their phones and they have to sit there and just, be at home all day and look at their TikTok, watch Netflix, and it's just like sheep. Most people are sheep, I hate to say. There's no, and not to mention, let's just look at the family unit that's been destroyed. A lot of people come from broken homes, mommy or daddy or whatever wasn't in the home, so they just have no connection. They have trouble connecting with other people, so it really integrates into the culture that makes people cold. Makes people very very antisocial
But
and makes people.
it seems like people are just afraid of each other. It's not just the technology. It's just there's just a
That too.
fear vibe.
Yeah, and that definitely has to go with the news. The news always telling each other, everybody to hate each other. Oh, if you're black, hate white people. If you're white, hate brown people. It's all that shit too. There's just so much division that the news has created that it just makes people very, closed off.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, Andrew said that when he was in South America or Colombia, he saw people having phones too, but they were still friendly and social and made eye contact with you, even though they
That
all
is
had
true.
phones. So
Yeah,
it's
that
not
that
just
was
the
in
technology; it's
Colombia.
the culture too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you told me that, Andrew, that in
And
other
he's right.
countries, people can still have phones but still be friendly to each
Oh,
other.
yeah, he's 100% right. Like when I was in Mexico, Brazil, same thing. People are always on their phone there too, but when you talk to them, they're very friendly and personable and, interested in getting to know you if you're a cool guy with cool vibes. So,
Yeah, it's
John,
probably like
yeah.
that in Vietnam too, I would imagine. Like people can still be friendly even if they have a phone. I mean, they can look up and put it away or something.
yeah, it's. I'm trying to learn the language here. It is so hard. I'm, but John, can you tell us about Brazil?
Oh, I would love to, man. Such a wonderful place, man. I always say it reminds me of being in like a hippie town here up here in California, but in the 1960s, 70s. It's got such a cool vibe. You got the surf vibe. The surf is good with the beaches. The food's good. Very people, very friendly, very family oriented country. Just so much fun shit to do. And of course, the women, man, they're some of the hottest in the world, and they're nice as fuck too. And it's just got such a nice vibe to it. Like you cannot like you go there and you feel like you're at Disneyland, except you literally wake up every day and you're at Disneyland. So yeah, that's how it is.
So like,
Some of the
what?
downfalls of huh?
Okay, keep going. Sure.
Some of the downfalls are things aren't run very well. Um, Also customer service is very slow. And yeah, some parts of Brazil are very dangerous. You definitely want to, exercise caution, but for the most part, it's a very solid country. It's easy to make friends. You almost learn Portuguese fast when you're there because people are so easy to talk to and they're patient. So that's what I love.
Mm, yeah. Okay, so Rio, Sao Paulo, Floripa. What parts would you recommend?
Oh, I'd recommend Rio. Floripa's good. Yeah, it's good. A lot like Rio, but maybe a little more California style when it comes to the way it looks. Rio is more like Miami. Also, I like the city called Blumenau, which is kind of a German city in the south as well. It looks so cool. It looks like you're in Europe. Rio's cool as well. I mean, sorry, Sao Paulo's cool as well. It's a little dangerous, but it's not too bad. For You have places in the north that I think are the best when it comes to price and stuff like that, called Recife and Recife, I think it's called, and Fortaleza. So those are kind of like Miami style beach towns as well, except very cheap. So there's just so many, and it's such a big country that you can explore everything. I haven't even been into the Amazonas before, but yeah, if you like jungle, they got that. Got like beaches, they like that. If you like cities. You got Sao Paulo or Curitiba or these other places like that.
Did you how about did you get any action with the women there?
Oh, oh yeah, definitely. I think I sent you guys some receipts. I'll send you guys some more receipts after this if you'd like. But yeah,
So like
it was, yeah, and that was the fun part of it. It was so like so 1980s where you just walk up anywhere. Could be the store, could be the street, club, bar, restaurant, and you can approach and it's straightforward. The girl's interested in you, she'll continue the conversation. If she's not, she just walks off, which I love because there's no hiding to go find them or anything like that.
Yeah, and even
I
if she
mean,
walks off, it doesn't feel like taboo or something.
yeah, exactly. And there's no yelling, there's no argument. It's just straight up, hey, I'm just not into it. And that's cool, But that's what makes it great is you feel comfortable to just keep approaching, keep approaching, keep approaching.
Yeah, I've heard it's just real informal. Like you just kind of go up to them and just say, make conversation and just, there's nothing awkward about it. They're not stuck up or, they don't have an attitude.
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, it's a very friendly, very,
There's not
very
that
friendly
paranoia
vibes.
attitude, right? Not that paranoid. Like it doesn't have that paranoid attitude, like you have in the US, right? Where people are
Yeah,
afraid
not
of you.
no, yeah, it doesn't really. The only time it might is if you're walking the streets at 3 a.m. Then people kind of get weird because Brazil is a high crime country. But for the most part, no, there's no stranger danger as much there. Not to mention people know how to protect themselves there. That country is like one of those places where a lot of people do MMA and boxing and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't get why in the US I mean you can't just go out and meet people, like people imagine you can, but in most other countries you can. I mean, it should be a simple, natural thing, but if you never left the US, you never would know that.
Exactly. You never would know. It's crazy.
Yeah, and Brazil must have a lot of culture because when I was in New Mexico, I saw this museum, this culture museum, and there were so many exhibits from Brazil. I was surprised. I took a video of it, and I think I'll send you the link to it sometime. I mean, I'll send you the video sometime to the video I took. I mean, there were so many exhibits showing so much culture there. I mean, it must be so rich and fulfilling with lots of exotic culture
Oh, hell yeah. It is.
everywhere.
There's all this, and it's such a country that it's very mixed in nationalities because there's been so many immigrants there. So it's like you get a little bit of everything. You get a little Euro culture, you get a little African culture, and you get a little, native culture.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like an entire smorgasbord of all kinds of culture. I mean, the clothes, the houses, these little miniature models, the dresses, and there's so many colors. I mean, it looks like some like a colorful potpourri of something.
It is,
It
yeah.
must be beyond imagination because in the U.S. you don't really have any culture. It's just consumerism.
Yeah, and that's so sad because the US is such a big country that's accomplished so much, but we don't have a hold of our culture. Our people are very cold to each other and we don't unite on a lot of stuff. And people just they don't want to get to know each other. And that's sad because America can have a beautiful culture, but we just choose not to. And it's heartbreaking, because I love America. There's so many this is where I was born. My family, they served in the military, and I just wish it could be, if not perfect, and if not like Brazil, I wish it could be at least like a fucking Italy or something.
Yeah, I don't think America ever will because the people and the culture are very uptight. I mean, they're very focused on work and consumerism. And I mean, it's just very, very uptight. They don't want to change and become really, no one really lets loose.
Yeah, it's
It's always
sad.
uptight. Yeah.
And this is kind of a sad thing to talk about, but I think that's the reason why there's a lot of people that commit suicide because they have no one to turn to. They haven't created a social circle. They haven't been with people that, or have been talking to people that they can trust and rely on and come to when they're in trouble. And, it's just that lack of connection, of human connection gives them no respect for their own life even. And that's why, a lot of people just, off themselves. And that's
Oh,
really
so
sad.
there's still a high suicide rate in the US,
Oh, yeah.
more than
And
in other countries, probably more than in South America for sure.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
See, this
And
is
also high rates of depression and taking drugs too, like
this is
antidepressants too.
this is an issue
Mhm.
you just don't see in places like Colombia. Isolation, incels. You don't have incels in Colombia. You don't
That's
have
true.
incels in Brazil, I don't think. And you don't have
Oh,
incels
no.
in places like Thailand or Vietnam. And yeah, this is a specific problem to Western countries,
It
isolation.
is. It is. And that's what it is. It's isolation. People staying in their house all day and not having no human interaction, not building relationships of any kind, whether it's friendships or romantic relationships. And they just have no respect for life in general. And this is why it happens. They think that everything's over just because they feel bad, but they never tried getting help. They never tried talking to people. And
Yeah, no
it's
one talks about
heartbreaking.
this. Everyone just pretends everything's fine and normal,
Yeah.
You know what the thing is? If those guys, the maybe young guys that are having social problems, if they were to go to some other countries, maybe Mexico or South America, and they'd be able to let loose a little bit, and they'd be able to uh, you know get out of their shell a little bit more, and probably fix all their social problems just by leaving America.
I think so too. I think that's a very big part of it. I think this is all they know, so they think it's this or nothing. But you're right. If they were exposed to a different culture, they would be able to see how things are in different countries, and therefore that would open up a whole new mental horizon for them and a spiritual horizon for them to be like, you know what, the way it is where I wasn't good, and hey, I might like it better here, and fuck, they might stay.
So, so
But that's what's so good about traveling is it opens your horizon, it opens your mind, you're exposed to different cultures, and I know it's cliche to say, but it it really develops you as a person, very much so.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It makes you a better person. You realize that life isn't everything that America tells you what it is. That
Yeah.
life is not just about competition and live to work. That it's much more than that. You can just be yourself in other countries, whereas in America you feel like you have to like be this valuable person in terms of like working and being uh like it feels like you just can't be yourself in America sometimes, you know.
I agree. Like you're seen as weird if you don't conform to the culture, or you're, as you said, yourself. And it's very sad that it's like that, because we got this beautiful country that's got a big economy and everything like that, but we just, socially we can't seem to get it together. We have people, depressed, and like, we have so many people on antidepressants and other mental health drugs that it's not even funny. And this is a shame. This should be the greatest country ever, man. It should be, but it's not, because we don't have a grip on uh, our social lives and stuff. And that's a funny thing. People say, "Oh, well, that doesn't matter. It's still the biggest economy." To me, fuck that. Like, if you want to call yourself the best country in the world, you have to have everything firing at all cylinders, in my opinion, which is also social.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah, in other countries, uh-huh.
no, keep going, Winston.
No, I was saying other countries, I mean, they're not as poor as Americans think. I mean, their quality of life has gone up too
Oh
in
yeah.
other countries. America's not, it doesn't have the best quality of life anymore as it did maybe a long time ago. Because the third world countries, they've improved their infrastructure too and are, getting better quality of life too.
Oh yes. Oh yes. I was just in Poland, and that's more second. That's borderline first world now. And oh my goodness, the infrastructure was so beautiful there. The trains were super efficient and worked great. The buildings were equipped with aircon and heating. I mean, you had all the first world amenities that you have here in America. You just pay less for them, and it was great.
Yeah, and you can even get American food in other countries now too, as well
Oh
as
yeah,
Italian or Mexican too, or
true.
Indian.
It
So
was
so
funny. Yeah, you mentioned that. I was in Poland. I actually was able to get corn dogs one time. I was like, "What? There's corn dogs at this little street fair?" I'm like, "Oh, cool." But
yeah.
yeah.
The software said that there's only 9 minutes left in this. So if we get to that 9 minutes, we'll have to do a part two.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll
Yeah.
we'll get there. Yeah, so John, where are you planning on going next?
Oh, to be honest, I'm planning on going back to Brazil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, back there, and I'll visit Argentina as well. That looks like such a beautiful country. I like the movie Evita. I thought that was a lot of fun. That's one of my main reasons for wanting to visit Argentina. But yeah, it's
Oh,
yeah,
wait, from what the one with Madonna or the play?
the play.
Oh, okay, yeah, because the one with Madonna, it didn't seem like a very good movie.
Yeah, I saw it. It was average. It was cool that Antonio Banderas was in it. I like Banderas, but yeah, I wasn't too big on Madonna. I thought they could have made a better casting choice. But you know what? They only casted her because she had the name. That's understandable.
Yeah, and it has that really good signature song too. But that was it.
Yeah,
So the
that's
"Don't Cry for
true.
Me" Argentina song, that classic song,
Yeah, yeah.
great song. But other than that, there's really nothing going on in that movie. It just seemed like it dragged on for 3 hours. So
Yeah.
Argentina has interesting culture, and Colombia does, but I heard that Peru is not as friendly, right? It's not as
Oh no, yeah. I got a good friend who lives there. We all know who I'm talking about. Wonderful guy. He's hilarious. Says hilarious shit. He takes videos of it and he shows me how it is. And I believe him because these videos he takes are like 10, 20, 30 minutes long sometimes.
Is it because people are kind of repressed there and uptight, or just not as interested in talking to foreigners, or
Yeah, that's what it is. That's definitely what it sounds like to me. And I kind of relate to him because the way it is there, it's kind of how it is in Cali.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I would fit into Latin America a little more than Asia, because I was going to say earlier that the one drawback in Asia is that the culture and the people, and especially the women, are just really, really materialistic. And I'm not that materialistic, and they're materialistic to the extreme. So that's one drawback that I don't vibe with in Asia. So and my soul is more like, the more passionate, so like the Latin American soul, more passionate. So I would probably more resonate in that aspect.
Yeah, I think depending on the country for sure. The thing about all these Latino countries is they're so different from each other. Like Mexico and say Guatemala or Ecuador, those are three completely different cultures and everything. Mexico is very vibrant. People are very friendly. It's such a
yeah.
big family oriented culture. But then you got Ecuador, what is more reserved from what I've heard. And then Peru, my friend that lives there had told me it's more reserved. It's not like Mexico either. So you have all these different places that are so different. But that's what makes Latin America interesting. Is you have all these different places, like even from Brazil to Argentina. I've never been to Argentina, but from what my friends who are Argentine told me, the vibe is more calm and more European than say Brazil, which is a little more vibrant and party animalish.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, they have, it seems like they have a really genuine and real soul. Like when people have a real soul, you can have chemistry with them. But a lot of people in Asia, that they just are too materialistic to have a real soul. So it's hard to connect with them mentally or spiritually. You know what I mean? It's
Oh
just
yeah.
kind of more empty. So there's not much chemistry in terms of like mental connection or soulful connection.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is something intangible, but and not everyone's going to feel this way. But that's for me.
I get you because everybody's got a different way of looking at things. I'm one of those guys that sees this, and especially this is a part of my business too, is consulting people on what countries to choose if they want to spend their part time or if they want to live there full time. So what I do often is I say, well, what culture is compatible with you? If you're maybe more reserved and maybe you like things low key, maybe a place like New Zealand's better for you. Maybe a place like Monaco or something like that. But, you know, if you're a party animal, maybe you got to go to a place like, I don't know, Bangkok or Rio or Colombia or something, you know?
Yeah, because
Right.
there are guys that will vibe with even Japan or China
Yeah.
or even Taiwan. I mean, there are people that vibe with them, and
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they're more similar to them. Their personality is more
Yeah.
similar to
But
those countries too.
I watched a
Yeah.
video. Brian Rose said different cities speak, no, different places speak to different personalities. Like I
Oh,
heard
yeah.
that Brazil is a very extroverted country. Like they're very outgoing, whereas, I'm more introverted and you can it's Asia is good for me because it's kind of suited for introverted people, but Vietnamese people are very outgoing, obviously. But I was also in Colombia, and they're very friendly there. So, I would go back to Colombia.
Yeah, they're cool as fuck. I love their yeah, it's awesome. You know, it's one of the better places to really kind of get outside your box is that those countries like Colombia, Mexico, Brazil. That'll definitely set you outside your box.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, John, is the safety issue in Brazil, is it blown out of proportion, or,
I'd
can you
say
tell?
yes and no. I would say yes because a lot of these vloggers that say go to Rio, they're like, oh, no, no, come to Copacabana, everything's safe. And they're trying to sell something. But I think no, because I mean, it's a little blown out because most of Brazil is not unsafe.
Okay.
Yeah, most of it is like I would say the south of Brazil is the safest. Central Brazil can be hit or miss, and then North Brazil is some sketchy shit that happens there. Beheadings.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, there's safety issues in Mexico also. I mean,
Oh yeah,
can you comment on
that
safety in
too.
Mexico?
Oh yeah, now that is blown out of proportion. Mexico, for the most part, is very safe. The only time it's really unsafe is if really two reasons. If you get involved with drugs or something, yeah, then it's gonna be unsafe. And this, I don't know if this is really maybe life or death, but there is a big fight culture in Mexico. So yeah, if you're messing with people, you probably will end up in a fight.
Oh,
But yeah, that's about it. Other than that, like I said, Mexico, I've been very safe. I've never had issues there. The worst issues I've ever had in Mexico has been with scammers, but that's in every country, you know. I was called an FAGGOT by a scammer.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, but it's because I didn't buy his doll. I'm like, no, fuck you, dude. But
Yeah.
yeah,
The thing I found is that just don't go looking for trouble and you'll be fine.
yep,
Just
absolutely, and that goes for all countries. If you are not looking for trouble, I would say 99% of the time you're going to stay safe.
yeah. Yeah, so John, I wanted to ask you about Europe. I've never been to
Oh,
Europe. What are some of your favorite places in Europe? I know you were in Poland.
beautiful country, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, oh, I love talking about Europe. It's got so much history. It's also like Latin America where it's diversity of cultures and stuff. Oh shit, where do I start? Okay. Let me start with southern and we'll go east and north, okay? So Italy, let's start with that. That is one of the most historic fucking countries on this planet. The food, I mean, who the fuck doesn't like Italian food? Who doesn't like pasta? Who don't like pizza? Who don't like, gelato and all that stuff? I mean, first of all, the food, the scenery, the history with the Colosseum. I'm big. If you guys know me, I'm big into MMA and combat. So looking at that Colosseum is very motivating. The culture too, very family oriented place. Italians are cool people. They can be kind of short tempered, but they are cool people. Um, but yeah, it's a wonderful place. Is it, let's say, as good as say a Brazil or a Mexico when it comes to social life? No, but I'll tell you what, it's definitely not like America.
Okay.
And that's Italy, Spain, kind of the same, except I would say it's more fun, more vibrant, more like Rio. Party scene's awesome. Both places got beautiful ladies, very friendly too. So yeah, only thing is their customer service people aren't very nice.
Oh, okay.
And
All
then
right.
let's go to more Central Europe, Austria, Germany. Great places, kind of westernized now, but still, more soul than America. And yeah, you want me to go a little more on
Uh,
east?
sure.
All right. Let's start with Poland. Now, Poland is, oh goodness gracious, such a wonderful place. Amazing history, such a dark history, but when you're there and you're around it, you almost feel like you went in a time machine back to the times, and you're just like, when you're seeing Auschwitz, when you're seeing the castles and stuff, it's literally like you're not in 2024, man. It's unreal,
Mm.
and the party scene there is awesome. If you like alcohol, that's the place to go, man, because alcohol is cheap and very abundant. As for the ladies, we'll get in the good part. Great place. If you want to meet young ladies from that region, that's the place to go. That is the place to go. You don't even need to go if it's just ladies you're looking for, Poland. There's no need to go anywhere else. I'll just say that.
Oh, really?
And I got
Okay.
some receipts there too.
All right. How about, have you been to Romania?
No, no, I haven't.
Okay.
But I want to go there so bad.
Yeah, I heard Bucharest. I heard a lot of people going there.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, a lot of people like that place. Yeah. I have met a lot of people from Romania and they are cool as fuck. I'll say that. And I've seen so many videos on these guys have traveled there and they've had such a good experiences both with, the vibes and the girls. So that's might be my next trip out to Europe is there, to be honest.
Yeah, so would you prefer, I've heard Eastern Europe is just, you can be a man there. Is there
Yep.
feminism there?
No. And if there is any of them, they're like on a minuscule level. And their movements get shut down because they get publicly humiliated. But yeah, you could be a fucking man there. That's what I love about it. And that's what's funny is we were talking about what places you vibe in. I know a lot of people that maybe vibe in South America don't vibe there in Eastern Europe, but for me, I'm different. Like I vibe in both places. I vibe in South America and like Brazil, and I vibe in places like Poland and I think a lot of it has to do with kind of that I'm a little more of an old school guy. I kind of tell it like it is, and I think that's why I mix so well with those cultures.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you go to Poland and what are the other ones you've been to in Eastern Europe?
Oh, the Baltics, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia.
Oh,
I've
okay.
been to Ukraine as well. That was wonderful, beautiful place as well. So sad what's going on there.
Okay, so Eastern Europe, they're friendly there? You can just randomly make conversation with people?
You definitely can, and don't let the grumpy face stop you.
Oh,
As
okay.
Winston's been there, right, Winston? Like they look a little grumpy, but you approach the girls there, they'll talk to you.
Yeah, I mean the grumpiness is it's authentic, and that's why I don't mind it because it's authentic. But once you show them that you're a nice guy and that you're friendly and charming, then they start to open up easily.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, yeah. When you go up, just being straightforward, I noticed that's when you're respected,
Hmm.
and that's what actually our good friend Matt. Matt. He loved it over there because he could literally be himself. He didn't have to recite lines to like say anything. It was good. It was good for him too. And he's a guy that kind of struggles a little bit socially, but he was making a lot of friends just being himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even if he's introverted or something, or socially awkward, I mean, if you're in a friendlier environment, with good energy and positive vibes, then it can bring out the extroverted side of you too, you know. It can bring that side
Absolutely.
out.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah. I've
environment
seen
matters
that.
more than people think it does.
Oh, it really does matter. Environment really matters. People always try to say it doesn't, but no. I would say environment is probably like 50% of it, to be honest. I think it's 50-50.
Yeah,
50%
and,
you
and
and
also you have to
50% the
connect with the
environment.
culture too. You know, if you're in a culture you connect with, you'll feel more outgoing and extroverted than if you don't connect with the culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great point. John, I heard you talk about Matt. But did you say I don't know, he's gonna listen to this, but you say he's got some social skill problems or something? Like some social
Yeah, he's a little bit socially awkward. My friend Matt, yeah, he's a little yeah, he's has a little social awkwardness.
but you said that he was okay in these countries, like he was able to like talk to people normally and it's he was able to be
He
himself.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was able to just be himself and not really have these walls set up on him. You know, he felt like he can talk about whatever he wanted to talk about and he'd go into detail about it. And yeah, you know, I was there in Ukraine with him for about a month and I was in Poland with him for about almost 2 months. And yeah, he had been socializing the most out of any I've ever seen him. And it was
Oh
crazy.
wow! So he really opened up, right?
Oh yeah, he was really open. And he's like he was and you know, he also went to Brazil with me. He was very open there too. So what you were saying about location, I think that really does matter if you ask me.
The same thing happened to me. See, I started in 2016 and I was pretty much socially retarded and then I pretty much came out of my shell after like 11 countries. And my friend, told me that you're much different now after, being able to go to these places and just, you know, be more social with people because, you know, so I guess people guys in America that are, maybe having some social issues, they should just get their passport and just get out there and
Yeah. Getting that uncomfortable zone to get to your comfortable zone. That's how I say it. If you
sure.
get out of your immediate surroundings, you're gonna get comfortable real fast. It's like a fighter when you're training for a fight. You're gonna put yourself in uncomfortable ass positions so you can shine on fight night. And that's like that with social issues too. You know, you're gonna put yourself in a completely different place, country, culture, whatever, and you're gonna try to be yourself there. It's very rewarding at the end of the day, and that's why that I think that Matt guy, it really improved his social skills going over to these places.
Oh, it has
Yeah.
to because you feel more comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah,
So it's actually better than what you think.
true, true.
There's not all this awkwardness, this paranoia, this self-consciousness that you have in the US.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It makes you, yeah, so there's something about the US that makes you really insecure, whereas in these other countries you feel more confident.
Oh, yeah. And it makes for such good times too. You get it's so unpredictable. One thing about going out in America is I feel like things are really kind of mundane and predictable. But like when I go out and say Poland, like something crazy, like not bad, but something crazy would happen every night I went out. Like one night I'd meet some people and I'd end up at a house party somewhere like 20 miles away from the city. And then another night, we'd get randomly invited to a rooftop party or some shit like that. I mean, it's just like in America, it's like everything's kind of just one way. It's like, okay, we're going here. And then it's like predictable, but over there, I just felt like there was the unpredictability was so fun. It was very spontaneous.
Yeah, you can meet people on trains and buses too there.
Yeah, that's so true.
And it goes somewhere, like they'll meet up with you or help your friend do this or that. I mean, one of my friends, I mean, this wasn't Poland, but in Czech Republic. Well, actually, no, this wasn't Poland, but when the people I met on the train, I mean, they invited my friend Robert to join their band too. So he got to join their band and he played with them for years after that. Um,
Awesome.
and eventually he moved to Czech Republic too, and he's still long-term friends with them. So he played
Nice.
with several different bands, and so I mean that never happens in America. I mean, you don't usually meet people and then it becomes something comes out of it. I mean, the most you'll get in America is maybe a polite conversation for a few minutes, and that's it. I mean,
Yeah, small
Yeah,
talk conversation,
yeah,
and I hate small talk.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Winston. You're 100% right on that.
Small talk. Yeah. Well, everything. It just seems when I'm in America, it seems like everyone just only cares about associating with people based on business or work. You know, um, you know, or
yeah, it's like in America, you only say what you need, like like there has to be some practical or business reason to talk to somebody, and then once that's done, they don't want to talk to you anymore. That's it. That's the limit
Yeah,
of everything.
that's so
Like,
true.
like you only say what you need, and anything beyond that is inappropriate. It just feels so restrictive.
Yeah, it does feel restrictive. It feels really fucking like it's just like you don't even want to be around people in general when you're in America. Like when I leave, I feel like so, I feel like I want to socialize. I want to make new friends and have, new experiences and whatnot.
Yeah, and it feels inappropriate to do that in the U.S. And so I don't get how people make friends in the U.S. I guess they're you have to grow up around them or something, or go to the same school or the same work or something. But even then, it's difficult because it's so cliquish.
Yeah, yeah. It is, man. It's very, and I think that's the problem. I think people that start out with not a lot of friends, they end up never having it because of all the clicks. It's like you're either born into it or you're not in America.
Yeah,
Now,
and
me, I
plus,
was at,
mhm.
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that the problem with me and Andrew is we just don't even fit into the culture, so we don't even have the cliques that we grew up with.
Yeah. Even here, same here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah,
For me, I think I'm very good at like, it's funny. I'm an introverted extrovert where I don't like being around a ton of people all the time. But at the same time, I can be very extroverted in conversation. So with me, I've been able to make friends here and there here due to the fact that that I have a very engaging personality and I can be extroverted at times. But
Yeah.
even then, as someone who has very good social skills like me,
yeah.
it's still hard to connect with people at times because like I'm you guys, I don't connect with the culture. I'm very upfront. I'll tell you how I feel. I tell you what I think about things. And a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people think that that's being rude, but that's not. That's just me being me, and that's why I was fitting in so well in say Eastern Europe or Brazil, these places that I really love.
Oh yeah, you can be more direct in those other countries.
Oh yeah.
In America, a lot of people have told me that I'm rude too, just for speaking my mind. But yeah, I mean, whether or not you're introverted or extroverted also depends on whether you connect with the people around you. If you connect with the people and there's good energy with them, then you're going to feel more extroverted too.
Oh
So it
gosh, yeah,
depends on who you're
absolutely.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. If you fit into the culture, you're going to be more extroverted for sure.
I
Yeah,
want to
so you
ask.
can't just go out and be friendly with anybody. I mean, it has to be people that you have some, you know, um, vibe with, that there's some positive energy or chemistry around, kind of like when you're in Krakow in Poland, everyone has a positive attitude toward meeting people. So you can
True.
sort of feed off of that positive energy.
Yeah.
But if there's no energy, you can't do anything about it. It's just not there. It's like a dry desert of energy. There's nothing there to connect with or feed off of. And so, but yeah, some place like Krakow, Poland has that really good social energy and abundance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What a
And you
wonderful
can feed
spot.
off of it. Yeah.
You really can. And my parents picked up on that too. My parents actually came and met me there and they loved it. They thought that that place was, wholesome. And like they said, that the personality of the place matched the architecture. And that's very true.
Oh yeah, the architecture creates a vibe too, the rich architecture, the culture. I mean, it's part of the culture and it creates that energy, it's a
Oh,
very
yeah.
good energy. Not
Yeah.
like the strip malls in the US, it has a really dark, empty energy that feels very depressing and soulless. The strip malls in the US, I mean, it's just I don't see how anyone could live like that. I mean,
True. True.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
But I don't know.
the
It seems
lack
like
of
some people are empty on the inside, so they don't notice. It seems like not everybody's like us. Some people just are empty themselves on the inside, so they don't notice anything.
the
That's
the
true. That's true. Go ahead,
the,
Andrew.
the lack of third spaces. Are there the lack of third spaces in America? You know, I mean, I don't know about
Hmm.
California, but it's just where I'm from, Memphis. This is not a lot of hangout places where people congregate. I know in New York City they have, those central areas where people kind of are sitting down in the park, and they have those outdoor cafes. Um, but in most of America, there's a lack of third spaces where people congregate together.
Absolutely, Andrew. 100%. Yeah, there is, and a lot of the third spaces you get are like really shitty and they're really small, or they just close early too, which sucks.
Yeah, I
What do you
want to
mean by
ask,
third spaces?
places other than work and home, like
Oh,
social
you mean
spaces.
like a park or like a town square?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's hard to find in the U.S. I mean, 'cause even if when you go there, I mean, people still don't talk to other people.
Oh yeah, it's all a bunch of groups drinking and doing drugs.
sure. John, you sent me some photos in Europe where it was, beautiful architecture and like kind of people all walking around, in a central area. I saw this in Peru when I was in Lima. Um, Even though people were closed off there, like I could still go up to them and say hola, and are there a lot of central spaces in Europe where, people talk to each other?
Oh, tons.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, dude. It's like tons of that shit. Like it doesn't matter where it is, whether it's the city center, a business district, or get this. Even if it's in a section that's like a university space, it's got tons. I mean, sorry, not university space. Let's just say, sorry, a cemetery space. That's what I meant. Like there's an area in Krakow where there's a cemetery, and right by there is like a whole bunch of like shops, restaurants, and all that shit. And it's like, oh wow, we're going out to the bar by the cemetery. That's fun. So yeah, it's all over Europe. A lot of these third homes, as I like to call them.
Yeah. Winston, would you ever go back to Europe?
Oh, yeah, I've been wanting to go for a long time. I've just never been able to get around to it. I think I would like, Mediterranean Europe too, not just the Eastern Europe, but places like Italy and Spain. I think I would, if I was to choose a place to settle, it might be somewhere there because,
Perfect place,
I
man.
mean,
Good choice.
yeah, like 'cause a British friend of mine said that he really had the time of his life in Spain, in a town called Valencia, and that it had the best vibe, and it was so much better than the UK, which is more like cold by comparison.
Even
Um,
worse than America, the UK for sure.
yeah, I don't know about that,
Pretty
but
bad.
yeah, but yeah, a lot of people have said that about the UK, but the thing is, the UK looks so nice and friendly in the movies, but apparently it's not like that in real life or something. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
John, you've been to London, right? How's London?
Yeah. London's amazing. It's the best city to visit in Europe. Not a good place to live as an expat, but it's wonderful to see the history, the architecture, the food, the different cultures that is there. The public transit's awesome. The tours you can take and stuff like that. It's a phenomenal place.
but
Once you get out of there, it's just crap.
Uh,
but can you? I mean, in London, can you like connect with people or talk to strangers? Or I heard it's not really socially open, right? Or
I mean, other tourists, yeah, but like definitely not locals.
what about the girls and the women? I mean, they're kind
um,
of closed off. Or,
it's weird because there's so many tourists from all over. It's kind of hard to gauge that, but I'm pretty sure if let's say you're staying there for an extended amount of time, you'll meet tourists from Mediterranean Europe or Eastern Europe or something like that, Middle East or something. So yeah, I think that it can be cool, but only because it's a touristy city. But it's even like that in Los Angeles too. There's so many tourists in California that by default, you'll meet some foreign chicks from like Asia or Latin America or, Russia, wherever. So yeah, it just really, yeah, it depends on that. But as for like locally, yeah, it's kind of shit locally. People think they're higher class than they really are. Kind of like California.
Oh, but I mean, are the women in London or the rest of England, I mean, like open to getting to know you, or
No, hell
those
no.
they're kind of closed off and paranoid
Completely.
too?
Oh yeah, it's the same thing. Just like San Francisco.
Oh, okay, because I thought Britain was a more intellectual culture, isn't
They
it?
pretend to be. They very
They
much
pretend to
pretend to
be
be.
in the
Yeah.
movies. They look like that in the movies, like more intellectual culture.
Yeah. And it's the proper way of talking that I think they fool Americans with the intellectual shit. But yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, but I mean, they don't like try to get to know you or hang out or connect
No,
with you or
fuck
not.
no.
I mean, the men too and the women
Both.
both.
Never really got good vibes from any
But
of
what
them, to
about
be
outside of
honest.
London, like in the English villages or small towns? And
All only experience I have is with like Manchester and Liverpool. That's it, and both of them were shit.
oh, okay. So, but it
Yeah,
does have beautiful architecture at least, and
it
castles,
does. Oh, it
chateaus,
does.
and mansions. Yeah, I mean, it looks really historical.
Oh,
And
absolutely,
the nice
absolutely.
like green hills and stuff, the pretty green hills, and yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's definitely like being in California when it comes to the beauty and stuff, and or somewhere like I don't know, Massachusetts or Northeast or whatnot. But yeah, it does not have the greatest vibes. If I were to be honest, if you want the vibes, you gotta get on a plane, go south to like Spain or Italy,
Mhm.
Greece, or
Oh,
Poland or places like
you,
that.
you mean like social vibe, right? Like
Oh yeah,
cultural
social
vibe.
vibes for
Yeah.
sure. Sorry, some assholes flying over. Shit.
What about a place like France or something? I mean, would it be somewhere in the middle or?
Oh yeah, it's definitely somewhere in the middle. That place is most tremendous architecture in my opinion. Like when I was in Paris, I saw the most coolest shit ever. The Latin Quarter, the Eiffel Tower, of course, Notre Dame. I mean, I fucking loved Paris. I mean, it was dirty, it was a little dangerous, but I loved the architecture. But as for like the vibes, cool vibes there. Yeah, I like France.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really spend that much time there, but from what I saw, I had a good time. I was there with Matt. He loved it too. We were balling it up over there. We had a good time.
Wow. Yeah, because my British friend said that continental Europe is a lot better than the UK in terms of vibe and soul and culture. You
Oh
said
yeah,
all of
definitely.
continental Europe is better than the UK or something.
But
Way better. It's not, yeah,
are
not even comparable.
is it true that
Except maybe for Finland or Sweden or Norway. I mean, that might be kind of a bit too reserved. I mean,
Oh no, actually, those are also wonderful places. Those are very peaceful, and if you're the type that likes to like things very quiet, places like Finland or Norway are perfect because those places are just so like that's the place you go when you want quiet.
yeah,
When
but I
you've
mean,
been
doesn't
partying,
everyone
let's
ignore
say.
you there? I mean, I heard that the people are very closed off or reserved or something. Is it true everyone ignores you
No,
there? Not really. So it's not like the US where
no,
you just
that's bull.
everyone just ignores you and you're invisible or
Yeah, yeah. Now, given people aren't very talkative there in that part, but if you talk to them, they'll be very sweet to you. It's a lot like Eastern Europe in that way, where they might not be loud and extroverted on the street, but if you talk to them and you get to know them,
oh, so if
they're
you make
pretty
an
cool,
effort, then they'll talk to you. It's not like it feels like you're bothering them
Yeah,
or violating their privacy or so.
Don, is it
yeah.
true that
It's
French
definitely not that.
is it true that it's hard to make friends in France if you're American?
No,
No.
no, not at all. Anybody can there. Now that is a very intellectual place. There's a lot of people they don't like small talk there. They like to just hear how you go. They just want to hear you talk. instead of just, being a little, oh, how was the weather? How was this? How was that? Like you get in America.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How's the weather? Yeah, I noticed that about European girls. Like, you can always talk to them about something because they like traveling and they're very curious about other cultures. So, even if you don't know them, you can still talk about traveling. They're always interested in
Oh
talking.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. They're fun to talk to about that
Yeah,
stuff,
just
especially if you could go ahead.
you keep going.
Oh no, you go, man.
No, I was gonna say, you guys got me thinking, like, how there's that fake happiness in America, like you got to put on a fake smile. Do they have that in Europe?
Most countries, no. The east of Europe, definitely not. That you won't see a fake smile there at all. Like if they're smiling, you genuinely made them happy, especially with the girls. Like if you get a girl smiling and laughing, that means you're probably, what the kitty with the hose down there. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely not. Maybe in like the United Kingdom, yeah, but definitely not the
Yeah,
rest of
it's,
Europe.
it's it's that thing. It's that thing. Even if you're not having a good day in America, if someone says, "How are you doing?" You always say, "Oh, I'm doing fine," even if you're not doing okay. It's just I don't like that. And then work culture. You kind of have to put on this fake smile. I mean, I just prefer like if I just prefer people to be more direct. In terms of
Yeah.
how they are
You can get
thinking
some of
or
that in New
feeling.
York too.
Yeah,
I heard in New York they're more like that too, more real.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely for sure. But that's going away too. It's becoming more like California there, from what I've heard.
Oh, New York is starting to become fake too.
Yeah, very, people posing like there's something and all that shit.
Well, it's probably
I,
because of all the
I
political correctness and stuff.
I thought
Yeah,
people in California were more real. Like they're not like they'll be more upfront with you.
at times, yeah, Californians definitely are more. I would say they're more cold in a way to where they will show they dislike you with the way they interact with you, but I don't think they'll really say their true feelings on why they dislike you. But I do notice in California, they are like, if they don't like you, you'll definitely know.
Yeah. Well, they
But
sugarcoat
yeah.
things more there.
Yeah, that's true.
Uh,
Yeah. But I was saying earlier that, when you talk to people in Europe, they're always interested in traveling and other cultures, so you always have something to talk about. Whereas when you talk to people in America, there's not always something to talk about because I mean there's not a topic that everyone's interested in. So you have to struggle to find something.
Yeah, if you're
Especially like
not,
with American girls. I mean, it's hard to hold a conversation with them if they're not interested in anything. They're not curious.
oh
yeah, all
my
they
God.
want to talk about is Cardi B.
I refuse to talk to women in America. I got nothing to talk to them about because they only care about sizing up a guy. How tall is he? How good looking is he? How much money does he have? What's his social status? This kind of thing, which, I got nothing. And plus, I go to places in the world where the women are more beautiful than the women in America are. They have a better attitude. They got better personality. So I have no reason at all to even speak to an American woman.
Yeah, plus they act really self-absorbed, like they're in a different universe. Have you noticed that most American girls, they seem like they're in a different universe and not even the
Oh,
same
absolutely.
universe you are. They're just so self-absorbed that there's just really nothing to connect with or talk about.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
right. And it's like when you do talk to them, it's like you're hearing from their favorite celebrity or movie from a character. It's like you don't really get to know the real them. It's just you're hearing
yeah, and
their
even if
favorite.
they make
Yeah.
small talk with you, I mean, it doesn't go anywhere. Nothing good comes out of it, really. I mean, for me at least, I mean, nothing really good comes out of it. Even when you talk to them for 5 or 10 minutes, I mean, it doesn't go anywhere. I mean, it's just, polite small talk about anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree.
It's almost like if you're not meant to be in the US, like nothing really happens there for you. Like it's just not your niche.
Yeah.
You guys notice
There's
that?
no
Yeah,
spontaneous thing.
yeah. Whereas in Europe, I mean, you can always talk about travel, other cultures. They're always interested. Everyone's interested in that. There's always that topic. you
You
can
can't
use.
be
True.
yourself around women in America. You can't be yourself. And if you are just you're being yourself, they just they it's like they want the fake guys. They want these like they want the guys you see on Instagram. It's just like for the average guys, I mean, they're just not interested. It's insane.
Yeah, it is. It's insane how it is. It's like they'd rather be with some fucking lifeless, soulless idiot who
Yeah, or
has
douchebag,
somewhat of a
or I
yeah, or
don't know.
douchebag or something, criminal or
But the
whatever.
thing is, they say that, but then they complain that all guys are jerks. But if you're a nice guy, they just ignore you, and then they
Yeah,
think that every guy is a jerk who just wants sex. But it's weird. It's like they think that they act as though wanting sex is a crime or a sin or something evil or bad.
yeah,
I
right.
don't get
I
that.
always said that. Like they're allergic to it.
Yeah, yeah, guys do want sex, but that's natural. It's hardwired into them. It's not something evil or bad. But I don't know. According to a lot of American women, guys only want them for sex. It's like there's nothing else between them except that. So it's like maybe they have nothing to
Yeah,
offer except sex, or the guys that they're
that's
choosing,
really what it is.
have nothing to offer either. I mean, it's kind of weird that they all say that.
Yeah, and that's the truth that they do have nothing to offer, and that's all they got.
Yeah, and they don't realize that, and it's like they're not seeing what's going on. But but yeah, I mean, if you were a woman, you might see the world differently, because they do see the world differently. They it does seem like they see a different world. Like for example, every woman in America I've talked to does not feel like they're invisible. That's something that guys feel. You know, if you're a single guy in America, you do feel kind of like you're invisible. People don't acknowledge you. But if you were a girl or a woman, people do seem to acknowledge you more. It's just that you attract the the worst bunch or something. I mean, that's what they say.
Yeah, that's
There's
true. I also think they're just so dysfunctional because of the trash culture that they end up picking the guys that fit their dysfunctional fantasy.
Yeah, I don't know what they see. They seem to be in a different world, and they claim that they always meet low quality guys, but that could be because that's what they attract. Because people that are meant to settle down, they usually get married early, and then they'll have a husband and kids early. And those are the stable types. But guys like us, we don't have that, so we have to kind of find our own purpose. Find our own life. It's not given to us so that we settle down. Because, for example, if Andrew and I were meant to stay in America, we would have found, a nice wife and a nice career a long time ago and just settled down into a normal, happy suburban life. But if it's not meant to be that way, then we become wanderers and have to find our own purpose. That
Yeah,
just seems how life is.
that's true. If there's a resource that you want or need that's not where you are, then you got to go find it. That's what they've done from the beginning of time. That's why immigration has happened a lot. There's a resource that somebody wanted and needed an opportunity with, and there we go. Whether it was land, whether it was food, whether it was water, gold, silver, any other
yeah,
precious
but
thing that comes from the earth.
Winston, I don't think it's just something wrong with us. Have you ever seen a foreign guy from another country say that he wants to go to the US to date an American woman? I've never even heard of that.
No, never.
I mean,
Um, I'm sure the movies show that kind of scenario, but I haven't seen in real life. I mean,
yeah, I think I've seen an Australian guy with an American woman, but and maybe
yeah, and maybe a French guy might because American women do like French guys, so
But
they have a chance
it's
too.
usually the case when the American woman goes to those countries and meets those guys in their own country. It's not where those guys go to the US, you know, to meet the women there in
True.
America.
No, not unless they're like a foreign exchange student, maybe, but not usually. Not like an
Yeah.
adult male or something. No. If it was an exchange student, there might be some more. I mean, a foreign exchange student coming to the U.S., there might be a chance, but he'd have to be from a country that American women like maybe France or Italy or something.
I don't know. Maybe you're onto something, Winston. Maybe we just are on a different wavelength. Maybe there is something about us. We're just different than everyone else in America. It could be
Yeah,
true.
yeah, or it's just a destiny or meant to be because it has to be because the typical person that gets married and settles down in the US, they don't have anything that we don't. They don't do anything that we don't. They just go through life naturally and it happens naturally for them. They don't have any secrets or anything or some formula or technique or method. They just live a
Yeah.
normal life and they find someone to settle down with because they're just meant to stay in the US. Some people have to be and some people are not. And the advantage we have is that if since we're not settled down, we have more freedom to do what we want and go where we want. Whereas the someone that's settled down can't just do that anymore.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Everyone's got their own journey, their own voyage, and whatever to fulfill. As you said, if you're meant to be there, then yeah. I think like right now I'm 30. I just turned 30 this year. The fact that I didn't really um get all the ducks in a row with America with, have my own house, have, my own apartment to stay in full time or whatnot, wasn't married or anything. That does give you more freedom and more freedom of mindset to be like, you know what, let me go investigate these other places that might be cheaper, that might be more safe, that might be more fun, whatever. So that's what's good, like that's one indication that you might not belong, or you might not be in the place you belong.
Yeah, because I mean, having a big house is nice, but it doesn't make you happy, I mean, because if you're
No.
inside of a house, you feel kind of trapped and in a
Oh
golden
gosh.
cage. So it doesn't give you any good experiences to be inside of a house. You have to, be outside and having, some adventure and experience rather than staying home. So, I don't understand why Americans want to work their whole life just to have a nice house when you shouldn't even stay. Well, yeah, I was just saying something before I left. I, yeah, I don't remember. I think it was about relationships.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, it was about the big houses too,
oh
having a big
yeah,
house.
yeah, yeah. I don't get why Americans want to buy a big house if spend their whole life on it, since that's not what brings you joy in life. Having experiences and adventures is what brings you joy in life, not having being sitting inside a nice house. And um, so yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And also, when you settle down in America, I guess there's some good and bad in it. I mean, it's just you're just in this routine where you like live for Friday and you dread Mondays, and that's not the way to live.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
And
that's
even
how I
animals
feel. Yeah.
don't dread Mondays and live for Fridays. I mean, that's just a really artificial prison-like existence.
Oh yeah. Definitely. That's engineered for sure. Definitely engineered by corporate systems.
So yeah, I mean, being single and free does have a blessing and a curse. And so the best thing to do is to live in a country where at least you can have company and date girls and so you're not lonely and isolated.
Yeah. That's very true. That's why getting out there is very important, definitely getting out there and getting new experiences, because then it gives you this new outlook on everything. And no matter what you're doing, whether it's business or sports or socializing, you get that peace of mind knowing that you have that confidence that you've tried something new, knowing you have that confidence that you were able to get out and push your limits and get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, I mean, so Andrew has the best of both worlds. I mean, I mean, he's single, he's not settled down, but in Vietnam, he has his girlfriend too. So, so you have the best of both worlds. He's not
Yeah.
isolated there, and he does have a girl to date. So,
But
he has the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
but Winston, I think people want to belong. They want to belong to a group socially and feel like they fit in. And I never felt like I fit in America. I especially at Tennessee, and then I moved to Nevada, and my life got a lot better in Nevada. But I never really felt like I belonged to a social group in America.
No, sometimes you can never fit in, because you just can't fit in if you're not meant to fit in. I mean, it's just like, you put a dog and a cat together in a room that they're not going to fit into with each other because they're too different. They know that they're
True.
different. They're not going to vibe or
Oh
connect.
yeah.
So it could be that, we're just misfits or free spirits, and we just only fit in with other misfits and free spirits. Kind of like an international hippie or something. But of course we're a lot more intelligent than that, intelligent than a typical hippie.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
If there's a group of people that I fit in the best with, it's Vietnamese people, even though I don't speak their language. Um, I tried in Colombia, but there's just I even if I were to speak Spanish fluently, I don't think that I would truly be a part of them just because I'm white. But I feel like I fit in here in Vietnam.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
even
it
if you
makes
don't fit
sense.
in, as long as you have friendly, positive connection, of some sort, then you can feed off of that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like if you have some good chemistry with that culture, you can still get some positive energy from that culture to some
Oh yeah.
extent. And that's important because if you're in a place where there's no culture and you don't fit in at all, and you just have nothing, except a job to go to. I mean, that's not satisfying to people like us. I mean, it might be satisfying to some people, but not to people like us.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like people like us, we're very experience driven, where we like to experience things. Like we're not the people that like to sit backstage and work on the behind the scenes. Like we like to be in the scene. So that's what makes us differ from a lot of people, and that's why sometimes maybe we also have a trouble to
Yeah.
relating to certain people.
Yeah. Have you noticed like the media doesn't acknowledge our existence? The media acts like all you need is a job and you'll be happy every day. I mean, yesterday there was an interview with Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And during that interview, Donald Trump said that if you have a job, then you'll be happy to get up every day and to go to work every day. You'll have a smile on your face. You'll have something to look forward to. But then I thought, well, just having a job isn't enough. You need a good social life, dating life, a good culture and environment. I mean, so even someone
Absolutely.
smart like Donald Trump doesn't get it. He thinks that all you need is a job to be happy. But the thing is, everybody in the media and politics talks like that. That's just how they're supposed to talk. I mean, he may not really think that way, but he just has to talk that way because he's a politician.
Oh yeah, definitely. Having a job's good, but you have to like it. Number one. Number two, you have to have a job that you again vibe with.
Yeah, that's true too. But I mean, it's not just a job, but I mean, your everyday life, your location, your culture, the social connection too. I mean, all of that matters, but America ignores all of that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
They act like it
know.
doesn't matter. They act like, oh, everybody has a family, they're settled down. All you need is a job and your life is complete. That's what everyone in the media assumes for some reason.
Well, they
Yeah,
are they
true.
are discussing the loneliness issue. I mean, I've seen a lot of articles and interviews where people are talking about there's a loneliness epidemic in America. So at least they're bringing it up that there is some kind of problem.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do
true.
sometimes, but I mean that's not going to be a top headline, and politicians are not going to talk about that. They're going to talk about creating jobs and the economy. I mean,
And the wars.
yeah, the wars, all the main headline news is not going to be about that.
Yeah, that's one thing
Just
that
just
angers me
fighting.
about America's system is, just God, like build a public healthcare system for once. Just why don't they do that instead of putting all the money in the military? You know.
Yeah,
True.
I mean, they shouldn't even be arguing about that. I mean, healthcare is supposed to be a given. I mean, people in other countries, they don't argue about the things that Americans argue. I mean, they don't argue about guns or abortion or any of that stuff. I mean, it's just senseless to argue about that all day. Those should be a private issues. They shouldn't be publicized.
No, I mean, but
Oh
it's a
yeah.
it's a fact that that they won't even build a national healthcare system. That shows how much that they don't care
They
about
don't.
the people. They don't care about the people. We're just drones. We're just workers and in the system. And we're disposable. So that's why I don't have any interest in being in America. I feel like I'm just disposable.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get you.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like everybody's a McDonald's franchise and the quality doesn't have to be good as long as you just do what they say.
Yeah, that is mean-spirited. How come other countries can have a national healthcare system, but America can't? I mean,
Hmm.
um, that is a really red flag, that something is wrong in America. Something's disconnected and cut off.
But the thing is that if see, the thing is, if you're in a place in the world where you're happy, you're healthy, and you're eating good food and you live a stress-free life, you're gonna have good health. You're not gonna need to go to the doctor or take a pill, you know, like a lot of Americans do. And that is a problem with America is that I do know that statistic that a lot of people are on like 1 in 5 or 1 in 4 are on mental health prescriptions, and there's an obesity problem, and so I did notice a difference in the food when I went back there. I felt more sedated or sluggish after I would go to a restaurant or something.
Oh yeah, yeah, I noticed that about American food. When you eat it, for some reason it makes you feel tired and sluggish.
Yeah.
And it's yeah, and it's harder to yeah, I don't there's something about it that's just off.
All the
I don't
chemicals,
know if it's the
sugars,
food
seed
or the energy
oils.
in the food or something. It's something very intangible about I don't know if it's the GMOs or something or whatever, or the processed foods. Because I was told that the bread you have in America would not ever be allowed in Europe. There's something about it that's not real.
Yeah, true. And they substitute everything with seed oils as well.
Yeah, even the Mexican food in America makes me feel really sluggish. I mean, is it different than the Mexican food in Mexico or?
Oh yeah, a lot of it is different. I mean, there's similarities definitely, but there's a lot that's also different. Um, for example, in Mexico, definitely they put less sugar in everything and less sodium, so everything is just naturally spicy.
But yeah, I mean, American food definitely does make you feel different. Even it. I mean, the only time it American food does feel healthy is if you're eating like Asian food. Just like rice and vegetables or something. Then you can feel a lot better. But anything else, I mean, with carbs or anything, it just makes you really sluggish and kind of sleepy and groggy, and it just does something to you. Yeah. So it's like in
Yeah,
America, you're attacked from different angles, multiple angles.
yeah, that's true. The food, the people, the government, military, even.
Winston, you're are you in Vegas right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how is it there? I live there. I love the weather there in Vegas.
Well, I think Vegas is nice if you're visiting and it's just kind of crowded and the strip is kind of crowded and I mean, but it's very pretty at night, but I it's very dry and hot though in the summer and in the winter it's quite cold. So the weather here is very extreme, and but it's kind of like California, just very, very cliquish. I think that most people here are transplanted from California.
Oh yeah,
So it's kind of cliquish and it's kind of like
It
I
is.
don't know. The people aren't very intellectual, or I was wondering, if you move to, a place, that's more red or Republican, wouldn't people be more friendly talking to strangers? Like Utah or Texas or something, or I would
I
think.
mean, definitely more so than California for sure. But even there, it's still very clicky. And
Oh, so
especially if
even
you're from,
Republican states are cliquish too.
yeah, Andrew can definitely attest to that.
Oh, that's right, because Tennessee is a red state.
Yeah,
But there
that's,
are some friendly red states like Utah or
oh
Montana or
yeah,
something,
those are wonderful. Yeah, those are
and
great.
South Dakota I heard is pretty friendly too. And there's nice people in small town America. You know,
Yeah. Those places are boring, but they have a lot of heart. Small
yeah.
place,
But
big
even
heart.
if you go to a nice small town
Hmm.
where people are friendly, it doesn't mean you can like just date women there. I mean,
True,
they're going to
yeah.
be married mostly or too picky still.
Yeah, that's the downside of the whole thing. But how was your experience, Andrew, in the red states of Tennessee?
Well, no, I don't recommend. Well, I'm from Memphis. It's not. This is not like a. Look, there was a recent internet article, and it ranked Memphis as the number one city in the U.S. for crime. Okay, so
Oh,
I don't recommend anyone go there. It's just not a nice place. There's no mountains. There's no ocean. There's no like beautiful scenery like John says in California. So if like red states, I think Utah is red. I always wanted to go to Utah, but no, I don't fit in Tennessee. It's just kind of a boring, average place. Uh, there's not a
isn't
lot
it
going
like
on there.
Elvisville or something? With a
Uh,
music scene and
let's see,
guitars
see,
everywhere.
but no, Winston. I mean, California has a huge music scene. Tennessee, people always bring up Elvis. I mean, I hate to say this, but how long has he been dead? I mean, why do people keep bringing him up?
Well,
He's
because he's
great.
a legend and his spirit lives
I
on.
understand that, but people associate they say, oh, Memphis, Elvis. But I mean, like, come on, like he's just yes, he was a great person, but you know, how many times are you going to associate Memphis with Elvis? I mean, you gotta talk about more things than that. Memphis is not a good place. All right, we're gonna move on from this. Um, what were we talking about? No, I'm sure red states are better. What are some good ones? Is Colorado a red state?
Swing state, but it's good. I've been there. It is.
Texas, Texas.
Oh, that place sucks now.
Uh,
Well, Texas is
Yeah,
huge, right? There might be good parts and bad parts.
there is. I live there. It's okay. There's ugly. You can't grow food. Hot during the summer.
Oh
Cold
yeah, there's
too.
no
Yeah,
scenery in most of it. I heard it's just very
zero.
barren, kind of like Nevada.
Yeah. Also, obesity rates are through the roof.
Yeah, I always thought Texans were more friendly. I mean, they
Yeah,
are
they are.
when
They are.
when they're in other states, they seem friendlier when they come and travel. Like when they go to other states, they seem. Um, but Andrew, I mean, what about other states like Tennessee or Louisiana? I mean,
no, see, the thing
are
is,
they the same?
when I left Tennessee to live in Las Vegas, I could literally feel the vibe and the energy change when I went to the West. There's some kind of different energy in the South. There's a different energy in the West, and there's obviously a different energy in the New England Northeast area. So I mean, it's America is basically a continent. It's not a country; it's a continent. you know,
Yeah.
uh, but no, sorry, but like if you're kind of a free-spirited person like I am, I don't recommend the South at all. It's just not. It's kind of a boring place. Sorry.
I agree with him. Yeah, that sounds about right. It's
Um,
either
but
you're one way or the other. There's no in
well,
between there.
and then you've got Florida. I haven't been to a lot of places. I've only been to Miami, but I'm sure there's a lot of good places in Florida.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, Florida's nice. I mean, it has Latin culture, but I heard that the women there are very, snobby and conceited, like kind of like California. It's a bit,
Yeah,
but I would like the beaches there. I mean, there's white sand and blue water, and
you're right.
it has
You're
a nice vibe, Florida too. It has a
true. It's like Cali light. I would say it's Cali light, which is nice. You know, you got the nature there too, the beaches and shit. But one thing to contend with is the weather. Oh Lord, that's pretty bad.
You mean it's very humid, right? Or hot?
Oh
Yeah, the
yeah, it's
hurricanes,
brutal.
the rain, sure. But um
I'm a pussy when it comes to weather, man.
yeah,
You don't.
I will tell you where I am right now, Vietnam, there's two seasons. It's hot and very hot. Those are the two seasons.
Yeah, Cambodia is like that too, and it rains a lot too, so it cools off the heat.
That's awesome. Wow.
But still, I mean, Vietnam is not as hot as Las Vegas in the summer. I mean, that's just brutal. I mean, or Phoenix. I mean, that's just unbearable.
Winston,
Yeah.
Winston, I wanted to ask you when are you coming? So when are you going to travel next? How, and where did you want to go next out of America?
Well, we're leaving here in September, but I might extend it, so I can go to Mexico with Jonathan. But other if not, then once I return to Asia, I was going to go to Cambodia and then Thailand and then Vietnam. So that was always on my schedule, on my list.
Well,
Because yeah,
so
there's still a lot of nice places to explore in Thailand and nice beaches and Cambodia too, Vietnam and there's also Burma, and Laos and all that, and
gee,
which are really poor countries too. And so there's so much to see in Asia. I mean, even in China, there's so much to see. I mean, it's a whole different world.
yeah,
True. Yeah.
That's one place I wanted to go to is China just to see it.
Yeah, it's like another frontier for Americans, huh? The exotic Orient, huh? It has that mystique.
It looks so cool. I've seen videos of China. I would go. Looks so awesome. And the
Yeah, it is.
prices
It's a
aren't
whole
too bad
different
either.
world, and it's not as bad as people make it out to be either. I mean, it's way exaggerated.
Yeah.
That's deep, way demonized, in the media, way overly demonized. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I look at some of the infrastructure there. It's amazing. The trains, like their bullet train, I forget what it's
oh
called, but
yeah,
it's
yeah,
really,
the high speed trains. Yeah,
yeah.
it's clean and safe, and there's I mean, nobody ever mugs you. I mean, there's no violence. I mean, it's a nice place, super safe too. You can walk around at 2 a.m. and nobody ever bothers you or does anything to you. It's super
Nice. That's
safe.
awesome.
It has a super safe vibe, almost like Japan, but it's a lot more like social. People aren't as uptight as in Japan.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, it looks like a cool place. Every American that I know that's been to China, they've loved it. My uncle went to China. He said it was awesome. He said it was a bit of a culture shock for sure, but he loved it when he was there. He did business there, and yeah, he enjoyed it. He said that he would go back.
Yeah, it's exotic, and I mean, it's so huge that it just takes a long time to get anywhere, and you get a lot of walking exercise, and the Chinese food is really good too. There's cheap and expensive foods, and yeah, Chinese food is amazing, and there's big cities, there's nature too, and mountains, so you have everything there, and the women look very, very feminine too.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely on my to-do
It,
list.
it is a bit materialistic, so it has its drawbacks, but it's a very interesting culture and experience, and um yeah, I mean people are just fairly friendly. They're not going to be as friendly as in Russia or Brazil, but definitely more sociable than in the U.S. And
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Yeah, that's the funny thing is there's always drawbacks about places. And this is what I always tell people is there's no place that's going to be heaven. There's no such thing as utopia. There's no such thing as Wakanda. Like every place is going to have something you don't like. So you might as well just, enjoy these places when you go to
Yeah,
them for
every
what
place
they
is going
are.
to have drawbacks, and you might not see the dark side until you live there for a few months. Because as a tourist, you're not going to usually see the dark side of any country, for the first few months. But even when you see the drawbacks or the dark sides, I mean, as long as you're doing something and you have some resonance with the culture or the people, that's really what counts.
Yes, absolutely.
Because yeah, it's better to have good and bad experiences than having no experiences at all.
That's true. There's always some bad experiences that are good stories to tell to people.
Yeah, you're going to have them because everything is going to come with a positive and a negative. Um, Everything's going to be come with like a double-edged sword. So but but you learn from the negative experiences. It helps you to grow. As a
Oh
person.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Especially when, you're in a situation that where something messed up or you're confused of what to do. Once you go through that, you're more comfortable for the next situation that comes up.
Yeah, you
For
gain
example,
confidence from it.
yeah, absolutely. For example, when I was in Ukraine, I was having trouble with my phone, and it took me hours to find the trouble, and I had to go to all these different kiosks and all that, and I didn't know what to do. So basically, I was running around town, and that was a bad experience, but that taught me a good
man.
lesson. Hey, figure out your phone shit before you go
Oh,
somewhere like Ukraine.
oh yeah, I had that experience in Russia too, where I can't do this or get register my visa, but because I can't get the phone SIM card, and because so it creates like a loophole. I mean, like a between a rock and a hard place. You can't register your SIM card to have cell phone service, but you can't register your visa without the other. So you're kind of trapped. And um, there's all this red tape like that. But it's an experience, and once you get through it, then you can enjoy other stuff. But at least that's better than like being in the U.S. where everything's predictable and there's nothing new happens. You don't grow in that kind of environment where everything's predictable.
Yes,
You know,
exactly. If you're in the same situation in the same boat all the time, then there's no room for growth because you're not getting different experiences. You're not seeing, what's out there, and you're not getting put in circumstances where it tests your toughness or whatnot.
uh, so, are there any other questions on the list, Andrew, or
Um,
do you
well,
think
no, I
this
was
is
just,
part three, right? Do you think it should be the last part, or
we were just making conversation. We can just keep going.
All right.
But speaking of like buying a home, so I was going to talk about this. Like I was looking at buying apartments here in Vietnam. So it's legal for foreigners to, uh, buy an apartment, but you don't own it forever. You own it for 50 years. And I was looking at places here in Saigon. There's one bedroom apartments that are, with that are, nice for, you can buy them for $45,000. And it just blew me away. Like I can buy my own place here. And, that's unheard of in America. And I was reading something on Reddit. A guy, bought some home in Panama for $15,000. And I don't know about Mexico buying property there, but it's getting to the point in America where it's unaffordable, for most people to own their own home.
Yeah,
You
it's a
know,
rich man's playground. Yeah.
yeah, I would imagine a lot of people are moving abroad now, but the media never talks about it. They always want you to stay in America and try to fix everything and vote for a new politician, which doesn't do anything. I mean, it's kind of futile to have that approach. But yeah, Andrew, I saw some of your videos in Vietnam, and the apartments and buildings look nice, and everything looks really convenient. You have food everywhere, bubble tea everywhere, drinks everywhere. I mean, a motorcycle guy to drive you around. I mean, it looks very convenient where you're at.
and beautiful women everywhere.
Yeah, and a nice swimming pool too. You showed in this nice swimming pool next to an apartment building, which looked really nice too. A nice big pool, and
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
and everything looks so cheap. I mean,
It's an underrated country. I don't I've been coming in on tourist visas, and it's been a very simple process. Um, but you know, so it's not as, I don't think it's as hyped and as Thailand is, but in my opinion, I prefer it over Thailand.
Yeah, Thailand is way overrun with tourists. I mean, it seems like half the people there are tourists. I mean,
Yeah.
way overblown. But it's nice though. Thailand's very nice. So, do you see a lot of expats in Vietnam that you talk to that have the same story as you? Or
Um, yes, when I went out with a group of guys, I asked them, and they said that they knew that they want to live in here long term, and that they know other people that have the same viewpoint. So one guy said that he knew a millionaire, like an actual millionaire, who would rather live in Vietnam than America.
oh, wow. Did they all say that getting a girlfriend was pretty easy or
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's just this country has no connection to the West. There's no feminism here. That's and it's easy to talk to them, and I was shocked when so many of them speak English. They just start talking to me in English. I'm like, just amazing.
oh yeah, I'm sure
Yeah,
like the college
education
educated
building
girls
there, I
can
heard.
speak English, yeah.
Yeah.
Um yeah, but it does seem like every Vietnamese girl I've met has been very cheerful, you know,
It's something
and
about
sweet.
Southeast Asia. I don't I asked you this one time before. Why is it that Southeast Asia is more openly social and cheerful, and then you go up to Japan or Korea and they're not as open? I asked you the reason why, but
Yeah, I'm sure you've noticed that too, Jonathan, that even in Los Angeles, the Vietnamese people seem more cheerful than like the Chinese or the Cantonese.
Oh yeah, definitely. As a matter of fact, I have noticed that. And
Yeah,
I've always
because if they
wondered the
come from
same
Hong
thing.
Kong or something, they're going to be really cold and cliquish. Have you noticed that? The Asians, from Hong Kong or something or
yeah,
Taiwan,
I've
they're going to
never,
be very cliquish. They're gonna,
that's one
Hmm.
place I want to go to, Hong Kong. I want to go there.
Hong Kong's interesting. I mean, it's very beautiful at night. The city, just like Las Vegas, but it has this interesting culture where you can just go across the bay on a ferry or on a subway, and it's very, very pretty. It's just really pricey, so you can't stay there for very long. But you can walk around at night, and it's beautiful and to look at, and the water too,
Yep.
and it has its own energy, its own vibe. It's like dynamic and moving. It's just too bad that it's so expensive there that you just can't stay for very long.
So it's
And the hotels I stay at there are really, really small too. The
dude,
rooms are really
so
tiny.
expensive, like New York City expensive.
Well, close to it, yeah.
Just like
Uh,
Scandinavia. That's the way you said it. That's how I feel about Scandinavia. It's an amazing place. It's just so expensive.
Oh, okay.
yeah, and it's crowded too, so you're not going to get peace and quiet there.
Oof, yeah.
But it's nice to visit. I mean, it's very hustle and bustle. I guess it's kind of like New York, I guess, an Asian version of it. And people walk very fast, and hustle and bustle, and they might be kind of rude too. They're not going to be very polite or courteous. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's just part of the culture. But I would recommend China because China has everything. I mean, it has cities and nature, and everything's just more relaxed and um. But yeah, I mean, you can do both. I mean, Hong Kong is attached to China, so you can take a train from Hong Kong right into China directly.
Wow.
It's very convenient. Yeah.
My uncle
Oh,
took a
okay.
ferry, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you leave the Hong Kong city, I think there's like, there's places in the countryside too, like farms and stuff and mountains outside of the city. I mean, within the country of Hong Kong, I mean.
Wow, that's
So
interesting.
yeah, I think that's where Bruce Lee grew up too, like in the Hong Kong countryside or something.
Yeah, true, true. Man, I love his movies.
Yeah, I mean he mentions that too, um, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just so commercialized now with shopping malls. You know, a lot of the Hong Kong culture is gone. It's become very commercialized with shopping malls everywhere. So they've lost a lot of their culture, you know, in the last few decades too. I mean,
The best
Yeah.
times, like, keep going.
Oh no, you go ahead.
The Hong Kong culture, yeah. So Hong Kong, yeah, it's how about Philippines, Winston?
well, the Philippines is not as good as it used to be. It's getting more and more expensive, and people don't like it because the girls are more spoiled now with the Korean guys coming in, you know. But for some reason, the expat channels don't talk about this on YouTube, but they'll talk about it in real life. But it can still be fun. I mean, it's still a lot cheaper than the US and it still has a happy, positive energy, but it's just not as good as it was when I first went in 2006.
Mm.
So it's
Happy.
gotten kind of spoiled too, you know. But it's still worth a visit. I mean, it has a happy-go-lucky vibe
All right,
still.
okay. Then I want to check it out. Where should I go?
Oh, in the Philippines? Well, I've only been to Luzon Island, you know, where Manila and Angeles City are and Baguio is, but I guess you could go down south. There's a lot of different islands and beaches like Boracay, Palawan, or Dumaguete. You know, it's just, you know, outside of the cities and the bar areas, it's just a very normal, you know, town with, you know, Christian values,
Yeah.
conservative values. But it's just so laid back. And I mean, you just feel so carefree there. You never feel stressed there for some reason. There's just this very carefree vibe, and I think that's why American expats like it. You never feel stressed. It's always carefree and relaxed, and that's not a vibe you can ever experience in the U.S.
Yeah, that's so true. That is so true.
Yeah,
Maybe,
seriously.
maybe 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 I can see Rock there.
Yeah, you can contact him and try. I don't know where he is now, um, but yeah, see, even if you live out in nature in the U.S., there's never a carefree vibe. I mean, it just feels like you're temporarily away from the toxic culture for a while. But you never
Yeah.
feel carefree. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wow.
so so yeah, I mean, Vietnam to Philippines is a short flight, maybe 2 or 3 hours. Um, but yeah, I mean, when I go back there, you can meet me there, or I can meet you in Vietnam or something. Um,
Sure. Um,
Yeah, I'd love to join up with you guys there sometime. That'd be fun.
yeah, you should. You know, this would be a new area for you, John.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because it's like those places are so exotic. There's so many different places to go, and also they're accessible by flights. The flights are actually pretty cheap.
Yeah, and Asia
You
is
got
super safe too. I mean, you don't have that you know crime or danger in South America that you have in Asia.
true, true. That's the perk right there. You have that ability to stay safe at pretty much all times.
Yeah, you don't
I've
have to
heard that
look
a lot of
over your
people.
shoulder or worry about violence or something or anything like that.
True, yeah. South America, you really got to worry about violence, unfortunately.
all right, guys, we're running out of time. I wanted to ask you both a question. What is the country that you feel the most happy and the most free in?
Shit, that's a hard one.
Yeah, that's hard to say because every country has a drawback. Um, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. Maybe Eastern Europe or maybe the Philippines. I mean, you do have that constant happy-go-lucky vibe there. I'd say Philippines or Eastern Europe, and maybe someday Italy or Spain if I go there and it turns out to be that way.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. Like that's a hard one to answer for me because like I felt so happy in a lot of places, even when I'm here, but here of course is not the best, but I would say, I don't know, maybe it's like a tie between Brazil and Eastern Europe. That's what
Yeah.
I would say.
What about Krakow? I mean, that's a happy place too, right?
Oh yeah, that's definitely a happy-go-lucky
Krakow,
place.
Poland.
Yeah.
Party town.
But Winston, if you could just choose so I'm gonna ask you guys just one country. If you could only choose one to live in, you can only choose one country to live in the rest of your life. You can't leave. What would you choose?
Oh, that's difficult to say. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe the Philippines or something. I don't know.
Say I'd say probably Brazil if I were
Oh,
to have to stay somewhere and not leave.
okay.
Yeah, maybe the Philippines, but that's a tentative maybe. I mean, there's pros and cons about it, but but it does have a happy vibe.
All right.
Yeah. It sounds like it a lot. You and Rock seem to really like it there.
Yeah, a lot of expats do. It just keeps, and ladies love too. I mean, it keeps drawing them to there.
Oh, he doesn't shut up about that place. I remember I met what's his name, Ladislav, or wherever I met him in Ukraine. Yeah, he was talking a lot about the Philippines. He said he really
Oh,
loved it there. He loved the vibe, loved the people. He's got friends out there. Yeah,
yeah, he feels at home there.
yeah, and he's from that region. I don't know what country he's from, but I know he's from around that
Oh,
region. I don't have.
Ladislav? No, Ladislav's from Eastern Europe, I think.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, he's from
Okay,
there.
yeah,
Yeah, if I don't remember the country, but I just remember that he is from there. I could notice an accent with him.
yeah, he had. So
Oh.
yeah, you asked which country I would want to stay in permanently. Maybe Philippines tentatively because it's a happy culture, but like any place, it has its pros and cons.
Hmm.
Yeah. For me, it was a hard choice, but I would say Brazil. I mean, if you guys were there, I mean, one of the main reasons I gotta say it's of course the vibe, but I mean, if you see the girls there, God, it's unreal. It's fucking unreal, man.
But what if you like thin girls? I mean, aren't all the girls there busty and curvy? And
Oh, that's a myth, man. They got anything you want. It's like
oh, they
going
have thin
shopping.
petite girls too.
Yeah, let me put it to you this way. You have the choice of African girls, Latinas, and girls that look Eastern European. You literally have that choice.
Mm.
That's
Wow.
like, yeah, it's fucking amazing. Pussy everywhere. It's just that place is a pussy paradise for real.
Wow, it sounds like a paradise for dating and social life.
But yeah, yeah, man.
With a
If you
lot of
like
culture
skirt,
too. Yeah.
oh yeah, if you like, skirts out at the park, that's the place to go. And I'll tell you, during the summer, skirts are out. You're a foot lover, the shoes come off. I'm telling you, it's the place to be during the summer. And their summer is like December to February around there. Sorry, December to March. So,
How come a place like Brazil has so many single women, whereas in America, every woman's going to say she's taken or married? And
ratios. I think there's just a lot more chicks than dudes in Brazil or Colombia and these places than there is in, say, the United States.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta maybe maybe Winston, you can go down to Brazil with John.
Yeah.
yeah, and then we could see Matt too somewhere along the way somewhere.
Oh, he'll come with us, dude. He'll come with us anywhere.
Oh wow, he's very brave then, huh?
Yeah, yeah, he's gotten better with that. He'll definitely come with us. He's like me. We both got miles, so we
Yeah.
got miles to spend.
Well, he looks a little bit like that actor Matt Damon, huh?
He
Doesn't that work to his
does.
advantage or?
Oh, it does. Definitely. There is a big advantage to that for him, especially in Europe, especially.
Do
Hmm.
other people tell him that he looks like Matt Damon or?
Yeah, people do. Quite a few of them.
Oh, okay. If only he was relaxed and confident like Matt Damon is.
Yeah,
Then
that's
it
the
would, he
thing.
would he would go places. Huh?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's getting better though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you have any other closing statements, Andrew?
Well, I don't know if you guys want to wrap this up or keep going. I don't know. We kind of covered everything, you know.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
wrap this up.
it's been 3 parts already, so yeah, we can conclude now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down. We could record another one another day and have a little juicier one.
Yeah. Well,
But this was great. Yeah, I mean to have 3 different perspectives.
sure, sure. Okay. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up. So if you guys don't have anything else, thank you everyone who's going to listen to this. If you listen the whole uh audio, then thank you, and be sure to hit the thumbs up button, the like button. So all right, so I guess we will end it here, and everyone have a good day.
Yeah, just
All
remember
right.
where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, thanks all for listening if you got this far.
All
All
right.
right, get your passports, get out there. All
That's
right,
right.
okay, guys,
Peace.
bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.